These developers are rotting our industry.
Begin to cover all that has happened this past week. And while this isn't really a political channel, the truth is very clear that political activism has wedged itself so deeply into our entertainment and gaming spaces that there is basically zero way to avoid it, especially when some of the very people making these games are using their platforms to cheer for things that are downright sickening. Some of the responses I have seen from professionals in this industry, and let's be very real, across many industries, to the devastating.
I think what is he mentioning is like when we had the death of Charlie, there was like a bunch of like left wings you know, developers that they were actually cheering the kill that the guy got assassinated. Like that's sickening, right? Doesn't matter with each side you're on. An assassination is assassination, man. Like how deep in the rot are you? Like if you actually wish for the death of someone, you gotta leave the house. You gotta leave X or Twitter, man. Like you just gotta. Like Reddit, it's not good for you, man. Go outside, touch some grass, and just try to get some perspective.
Assassination of Charlie Kirk have been absolutely depraved. People celebrating and mocking his death, people openly advocating for political violence, and I will be very honest with you, it has made me very angry and has been incredibly disturbing, but it has also made me very sad. Because this goes so much deeper than a few people or a single studio. It shows a very real rot that has crept into Western gaming over the years. Something cultural and something that has been festering for a long time. And that's the thing about rot. It creeps in very quietly and slowly. One spoiled apple softens from within. Before you know it, everything around it is infected too. So with all—
You know what G just said is exactly what my first boss, no, actually my second boss told me. I was leading this design department, and I had one guy out of like 6 designers that he was absolutely toxic. And I talked to my boss, and he said, listen, I'm going to tell you something. If you go to the kitchen at night and you see this bowl of apples, beautiful apples, and one is rotting, you got to take it out. Because if not, the next day you're going to go there and the other apples around are gonna be also rotten. And I didn't understand at the time. So and then I was like, then I started understanding. It's like, oh, so should I fire him? And he said, well, if you want, you are the department leader. So then I fired the guy. I fired his ass.
All of that said, the studios and the individuals that have been participating in this type of behavior, the ones that have been brazenly and comfortably using their platforms to celebrate the murder of someone that they disagree with, truly are poisoning their companies from the inside out. They are putting coworkers at risk, they are creating hostile environments, and just like rot, if they are allowed to stay and fester, they will continue to spread dysfunction and decay everywhere that they go. Out of abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And what we have been hearing lately is very revealing about what has been festering in some of these people and studios for a long time. I have been coming across threads on Twitter/X that have been exposing post after post from gaming industry professionals openly celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And for days, I kept thinking, oh my gosh, like there is no way that this can continue to get worse. But somehow, it has. By now, I'm sure many of you have heard about the situation with Sucker Punch and Ghost of Yotei. In case you hadn't, Drew Harrison, a former senior developer at the studio, published a post on Blue Sky that has seemed to kick all of this off. Drew received a ton of backlash and was eventually fired by Sony, who—
Okay, so do you guys believe that, for example, there is a team of, imagine, like 200 people, right? And they are working on a game that is about to launch. One person, it is a lunatic, and it goes like to the Twitter, and it just like says some like very bad things. Do you guys think that because of the actions of one person, we should cancel a complete game that may or may not have potential, right? That's out of the point. But do you guys think just because of the action of one person, we should actually cancel a whole game? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. If that person really is a reflection of the company, maybe, but sometimes like there's just like this lonely soldier, right?
By the way, declined to make any type of public comment about it. And then after being fired, Drew decided to double down by saying, if standing up against fascism is what cost me my dream job I held for 10 years, I would do it again 100 times stronger. Okay, buddy. Now, I've seen people say, oh, well, this was just...
I feel like now what is happening as well is, again, it doesn't matter on which side you're on. Anytime that someone it is giving an opinion that is not based on your own, you're just gonna call it like they are just gonna label you as a fascist, and I feel like that's so weird. Like nobody, I feel like the problem with the social media as well is like nobody's actually having conversations or the proper constructive discussion. They are just fighting. It's just like literally just fighting. It's like, I am not listening. I read your comment. I don't care about what you say. Here's what you actually need to understand.
One person. That's how it is. Sony even fired them. But the problem is that this person felt bold enough to post these comments with the studio's name in their bio. Other employees at Sucker Punch supported it, and the studio itself has been totally silent. No condemning of the posts, nothing. Which is crazy considering that they are about to launch a game in a few weeks. To
I don't know if it is crazy or if sometimes it is the smartest move. And I'm gonna try, like, you guys remember like 2 years ago, whenever there was like that huge drama with Mr. Beast, that there was like this YouTuber that came like with a huge video. It was like a debunking and like with huge, you know, saying that Mr. Beast was just like putting guys on a cage, like to the 100 hours or 100 days videos, and the guy was having a mental depression, etc. And then he interviewed the guy, so he made like a series of things. And then, like, Mr. Beast said that he was gonna say something about it, and then he actually never did. And then the beautiful thing about the internet is that people have very short memory, because they are always looking for the next thing to get, to project their rage and their bad feelings. So they just forgot. Like most people, they just forgot that about those allegations. And Mr. Beast just keep doing what he's been doing, and it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Beast just getting worse. That's out of the point. I also feel like, because like if you're talking clearly about Mr. Beast, I think the content that he does, it's not new anymore. It's more of the same. And I just feel like something that was absolutely innovation back in the day, now it feels like more standardized. It feels like more soulless. It feels like more. I understand what he's saying, but that's out of the point. I'm not. I was not commenting about Mr. Beast and his content. I'm talking about like the situation, and that sometimes actually going silence, it goes into more your benefit than if you actually get into a social media fight, and you always have to put these disclaimers and all these things.
Me, that proves one of two things. Either they're all cowards, or they agree with Drew. And honestly, it is probably a little bit of both. And look, I already had fundamental issues.
Okay, see, I actually, what she just said is she said two options, but I believe that there are also the third option is the one that I just said. Is like, maybe they are not like being cowards, and they are just like trying to, maybe, this is just a hypothesis, right? Maybe they're just like thinking that if we don't say anything right now, this is gonna blow out. And then eventually, maybe we can actually say something. Because if you say something in the peak of the blow up, then usually it gets like even more waves. You guys know other companies, they are perfect at like managing PR like this. Blizzard, for example. Whenever there was like the scandals and all these things, they didn't say much. You know what other company You have Apple. Whenever there was like that battery, that they were using the iOS, etc., they didn't say anything. So a lot of these mega companies, these mega corporations, it is a very classic move to don't say anything. Don't say. Obviously, they are working on the background. They are trying to min max, their reputation. But a lot of times they just don't say anything, because if they say something, usually it leads for the problem to actually get dragged over time and get like more media attention to it. So it's just a media strategy move,
with Ghost of Yotei for reasons that I've shared before, and I still seem to get pushback every single time. But I already wasn't going to be buying this game. Now, since this has happened, it makes me want to tell everyone I know not to buy this game either. So do not buy this game. The new Ghost of Yotei trailer just dropped across all of PlayStation's main accounts, and if you're wondering why you did not see it on X, that is because they did not post it there, at least not on their main account. Why? Because they knew that it was going to get absolutely torched in the replies. Remember what I said just a second ago about them being cowards? Yeah, well, this strategy actually did not save them, because even on PlayStation's main YouTube account, there is over 6,000 comments. The majority.
Yeah, and then like obviously that's exactly what I was saying. Like they are trying to avoid this bad rep, because they had like one guy that was a lunatic, and then obviously if you ever had a company, or like you think about in the business sense, you want to try to find a move to probably get rid of the guy and try to still, get your investment back from like the millions that you probably spend having like developing this game. So they are trying to literally coming up with the best PR move. But at the end of the day, this is still the internet, and they will find you, and they will, not in this case not kill you, but they will not buy you.
40 of which are talking.
And then like also like there's the mob thing, it's like now not only they know not gonna make sure that they are not gonna buy, but they are actually gonna make sure that their friends are not gonna buy, and they are gonna make sure that everybody on the internet will know to not buy them. And I also feel like this behavior, it is also not good. I honestly feel that, I never like the fact, because like it's like you're doing almost the same, you're doing the same that the other side is doing to you, so
talking about Charlie Kirk. And even on the like to dislike ratio, they are sitting at 18,000 dislikes. And yes, I did do my part. Honestly, bump this game and bump this studio.
Yeah, no, like of course, like Ravage, if you don't want to buy a game that doesn't go against your morals and ethics, obviously you don't have to buy it. You don't. But one thing is like you don't buy, or then is actually no, someone is asking you, are you gonna buy the game? And you say no, I don't agree with where they stand or all these things. But you actively going and promoting and going to Reddit and this and that, saying to people to not buy the game. I don't know how I stand. Is it like usually he actually sometimes has like the negative effect, because he actually giving you like more promotion and name in it has like, you guys know, for example, how Trump actually got like elected for the first time. It was because he came as the underdog. Everyone was like absolutely dogging on him. Every day he was on the social media. Every day he was on the news, and eventually he got so much traction and so much eyeballs on him that the other party, the Democratic Party, completely they were not prepared. That actually, because of that, Trump got enough votes that to actually eventually he just won. So the thing about like, there's this marketing saying that say a good or bad publicity is still good publicity, right? The bad publicity is still good publicity. It's because it just gets more eyeballs on the game, and a lot of people and a lot of gamers, and especially more the ones that are not like Terminal Hill online, they are not online. They do not care. Probably listen. Most players, they do not actually watch a lot of things online. and probably they just see on the game store, or they go to the GameStop or something like that, and they just buy it. They think, oh, this looks kind of cool. Okay, I'm just gonna buy it. You know, there are still so many like play gamers like that, and they are actually the majority.
But this situation with Sucker Punch was just the beginning of what we were about to see. Now, it would be pretty impossible to read through every single post that has surfaced over the last week, but I just wanted to give you a glimpse of what is actually being said and kind of what we're dealing with. And while there have been many posts from individuals across the industry celebrating, mocking the assassination, there have also been people who have been publicly advocating for further violence. Take Donnie Torrey, who is a senior QA analyst at Psyonix Studios, or Kate, who is a localizer for Square Enix. Again, keep in mind, these are people using their legal names. Donnie here used his full legal name and had his studio tagged in the bio. There really are no words. And then there's Blizzard, and I don't really even have to dig to find anything because half of their employees just self-reported. One of their writers even went as far to post an entire article. And here's the worst part about all of this.
So guys, it's time for us to quit Diablo. Yeah, guys. Yeah, listen, Ravager. Yeah, like you saw, you gotta also quit Diablo, bro. And you also cannot play World of Warcraft anymore. So yeah, game. Guys, what game are we left to play? Maybe like some Destiny Rising, right? Yeah, yeah, we are free. We are finally free, guys. No, but this is like what I was saying, right? Like, obviously, there are companies that had like thousands of employees, right? And I still believe that, you know, HR departments should definitely have a bigger, they need to have an eye on online behavior of their own employees. Okay, I believe that there should be a policy that you need to know more or less what your employees are saying. Okay, because if you're having someone that is actually being absolutely lunatic online, it should be addressed, and probably they should get fired. That I'm at 100%. I think it will be fair.
None of these people were afraid. They did not hesitate to do this because somewhere along the line, these people were taught that this type of behavior is totally okay. There's been zero HR, no accountability, and no consequences. But somehow in the midst of Microsoft messes, Bethesda might have taken the crown. This was not a fan account. This was not even an employee's account. This was a studio-backed marketing post making light of someone's death. Oh, and Epic Games? Not just random employees here, although there have been plenty of
Okay, so there was
them, but the trust and safety lead joined.
So there was like this Bethesda thing. Good Kitty. Oh, so this was the oh my god. Wow. So the official account of Bethesda, which is the company that makes like that flop game that it just came like recently like a few years back on the space. You don't care much about these fastest, do you? Wow, dude. Okay, so this coming from the actual studio. Now we have to know a few things. Was this actually the official guy that is managing their accounts, or it was like, you know, because like a lot of like these social media accounts, even in these big companies, sometimes they are like just managed by the freaking guy that is there for like 6 months. You know what I'm saying? But in my opinion, this is way worse than one of the employees. This is wild. This is absolutely wild. Yeah, no, obviously he was someone that managed, but you know, he was the guy in internship, or it was just like the main guy, right?
Making light of someone's death. Oh, and Epic Games? Not just random employees here, although there have been plenty of them, but the trust and safety lead joined in. Let me just say that again. The person in charge of keeping people safe on the platform was out here co-signing violent rhetoric. And then we get to the CEO, Tim Sweeney. Yes, The head of the entire company got on Twitter to defend what was happening. We are truly living through an epidemic of tone-deaf and brain-dead comments from CEOs. This is not about government censorship. It is about your employees and everybody else on the internet publicly cheering and celebrating someone's death and creating a hostile environment.
Yeah, like what she's saying is absolutely right. Just because you have freedom of speech, like the level of mental illness that you need to have to be cheering for someone's death and be wishing for someone to actually die constantly, and you say, and also I feel like nowadays people just like drop like kill yourself, pedophile, like the most weird, like where are like the normal insults that we use, like call someone stupid, like we used to call like people, oh, like for fun, like, there was like these soft words that people used to use to insult in a way, like maybe clown or something like that, right? But now everything is getting so extreme that even the insults are getting like absolutely crazy. We have people that are actually coming up. Like the other day, I was talking to my wife and I was saying, man, I can't imagine a day that maybe I get like, famous or popular, whatever. This was just playing. And there is a random girl that maybe I met in the past or something, and she comes like with this absolutely crazy story to try to cancel me. You know what I'm saying? Like these things, they happen on a daily basis with like many other creators, and I was like, how would I like react in that thing? Obviously, the first reaction is say that bitch is crazy, right? Like that's what the many. But then you have to go like to court. You have to deal with these things, and the honest truth is like the problem with the internet is like they will take everything at face value, and they will not even think twice. They will just like, oh, there's this girl saying that she got molested or raped or whatever, and they will immediately take our side. And a lot of times it is right to do that, and you should always give the benefit of the doubt. But also other times it's not. It's not even true. It's just like someone random on the internet that is just like trying to invent this story, and sometimes they even like create like fake Discord messages and things just to try to make a very elaborate story, and it's just fucked. It's absolutely messed up.
For anyone who disagrees. You are the CEO. You are not some random edgy Discord mod. Your job is to lead. Your job is not to defend chaos behind some half-baked interpretation of the First Amendment. I also wanted to quickly point out that someone created a Steam curator list called Charlie Tweets Detected, which is over 16,000 followers at this point, and basically just gives a bunch of transparency into which studios and developers have said what regarding Charlie's assassination and political violence in general. As you can see, this isn't just a one-off incident. It isn't just one employee at Sucker Punch.
You know what I just saw there? Is that, guys, 90% out of these games are out of the market, but I feel like this translates more maybe into an echo chamber of like like the culture inside like these companies and also inside the gaming industry. I think it's more like a reflection of that. So, but we have to know like how deep it goes.
As you can see, this isn't just a one-off incident. It isn't just one employee at Sucker Punch. This unhinged behavior is completely rampant across the Western gaming industry.
Yeah.
Some of it even coming from higher-ups and CEOs themselves. There are entire threads, long lists of employees being compiled and shared right now, and Microsoft in particular seems to be a major hotspot. It honestly has been kind of encouraging to see so many people put their foot down, both inside and outside the industry. Refuse to let this radical behavior.
We take measures like these very seriously, and we are currently reviewing each individual situation. Comments celebrating violence against anyone are unacceptable and do not align with our values. Exactly. If they actually act on this, I believe that this should already be a policy all the time. That after this incident, these companies, they have to say and tell themselves, hold on, we need to make some policy changes, and we absolutely need to actually go out of our way and create procedures inside the company so this does not happen again.
Slide. People are calling it out. They are holding these individuals and companies accountable. There's even a creator who goes by Legal Mindset that has been sharing lots of resources and steps employees can take if they are worried about their safety in the workplace, especially if HR seems compromised. Looking at you, Microsoft. And listen, it is exhausting to go through all of these. Every time I come across a new one on my feed, I feel this mix of anger and sadness. Anger at just the brazenness of these people, and sadness for what it says about the industry that I love. But all of this just circles back to the same issue.
And this is what she was saying is one of the reasons why I'm actually not actively on X. Because maybe it's even like I should be there because everything happens there, and maybe for my content and these things might be good. But the honest truth, man, if you go on X, it is, you keep scrolling on that, it's just hate speech all the time. There is not one single time that you actually go on X and you're actually gonna feel like happy. You're always getting bombarded with the most unhinged things. And what she just said, like in the feeling that you feel after just going X, and this is even worse. But in general, I don't use X because of that.
The rot that has taken hold in this industry, and it leaves every normal person asking the same haunting question: how did we get here? How did things decay so far that even the need to say out loud that people using their platforms to celebrate someone's death is wrong? And somehow that is the controversial take. And this is where I think we really start to see the root of the problem. I was reading an article last month that featured Gamescom organizer Felix Folk, and he was asked his thoughts about politics in gaming. He said he doesn't just like politics in games, he is excited to see them get even more political because he believes that the industry inherently has a responsibility to be political, since it is at the forefront of pop culture. Now, I think a lot of us already knew this was happening.
I believe that most gamers, they seek video games as an escape. And whenever we are playing a video game, it's because we actually want to get outside of the dog shit world that a lot of us are living. So I don't want to see more politics inside the game. Actually, I don't want to see any of them. And I think like most gamers want it. We just want a really good video game, a game that we can enjoy, pass their time, and have fun. That's all. That never has changed since the beginning and the creation of video games. That was the creation of video games, was for us to have fun. So please do not destroy them.
But it is definitely wild to hear leaders in the industry just say it so openly. And when politics becomes so baked into your job, something that is inherently divisive to begin with, you really start to see the fallout. Storytelling takes a backseat to messaging, characters stop feeling organic and become mouthpieces, talent and creativity matter less than whether you say the right things. And this is nothing new. We have been seeing this sprout up in Western games for years now, especially within AAA.
It's like every game, and this has nothing to go against minorities or whatever, but this not only happens on the gaming industry, it happens all over the place, that all the minorities, they have to be represented in any AAA game or any, big Hollywood movie. And a lot of times, even if it's gonna make the game worse, or even if it's gonna make the movie worse, right? So I just don't understand it. I don't understand, like, why, if the character, for example, in Harry Potter, Snape was a white wizard, why are you gonna make it black and go against the original story that the fans of Harry Potter, that they like the IP and they know the story better than anyone? It's just weird. Like, why would you make that change if it was not only for the political reason, because you want to appeal to other, like, it's not even to appeal. What I think it is they don't want to receive the backlash from these, deranged people online, that they will say, oh, this studio, Marvel Studio, just made the new movie of Superman. Everybody is white. There's not a single like Asian or you know what I'm saying? Like that's what they are trying to avoid, mainly because these companies, they don't really care if they are doing the right thing or not. All they care is that, are we doing the thing that is gonna make us more money? And if people are starting to talk like bad about the movie or bad about the game, most likely a lot of people are not going to buy as much because they are like, what the hell is going on?
Kind of culture doesn't create great games. It creates echo chambers. It creates propaganda disguised as games. It creates employees who feel emboldened to publicly celebrate violence because they believe there will be no consequences. This industry is massively hurting from the huge budget flops and outright awful games, wave after wave of layoffs to studios closing their doors. AAA gaming is unstable enough already on its own. And when you add this type of moral rot on top of that, when you add environments that have been poisoned by extreme individuals, all it does is accelerate the existing dysfunction. And this is where accountability matters. We do not need everyone in this industry to agree politically. That has never been realistic, and it has never been the goal. What we do need is something far more basic: human decency. They do not have to agree on every social issue. They don't even have to mourn anyone's death. But they do have.
They don't even need to bring it up. That's what they need to understand. We do not care who you support. If you're on the left, if you're on the right, I don't care. Just give me a good game. I couldn't care less about your opinion. I couldn't care less about where you stand. I just want to play a fucking good video game. That's all. Don't bring it up. Nobody cares.
To act with professionalism. They do have to treat coworkers with respect, and they absolutely must recognize the responsibility that they carry when they are shaping and creating worlds that millions of players will step into. For us as players, when we keep buying from studios that, if we're being honest, many have already made it clear that they don't really like us. But if we keep buying from these types of studios that enable this type of fraud, we are saying, this is totally fine. Please keep going and behaving this way. When we do actually withdraw our support, when we call out destructive and harmful behavior, when we choose to uplift creators with integrity and actual morality instead, we are saying, no, we expect better. If gaming truly is one of the most influential art forms in the world, like Felix Falk said, then its creators carry a massive responsibility. Some of them do actually understand this. Game devs like those behind Lords of the Fallen and Kingdom Come Deliverance have openly condemned the celebration of violence and death. All even praised DC Comics. When one of their writers was caught promoting more violent rhetoric, they didn't issue a vague apology. They fired her. They canceled her entire Red Hood project, which apparently already sucked, to no one's surprise, then refunded readers who had purchased it already.
Bro, listen, I don't want to be mean, but isn't this the classic stereotype of what you can expect of a profile picture on Twitter? Like, this is absolutely classic. It's and listen, I am actually surprised that she doesn't have blue hair. That's the only blue or pink or purple or whatever. Is the only, like, absolutely classic, guys.
Then it made a public statement condemning the behavior. Great job, DC. For the rest of the individuals in the gaming industry, let DC be your example. The state of our country is very sad, and this week has been extremely difficult.
And I feel like it doesn't come like out of like frustration, and because it's absolutely projection. Always these things.
But we can continue to call out corruption without becoming corrupted. We can demand better without letting bitterness take root. And we can hold these people and companies accountable without sinking to their level. To close us out, since we have already been super vulnerable today, I just want to leave you with a couple of verses that have been on my heart lately. John 8:12, Again, Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. And John 1:5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.
It was a good video. I liked it. I think like she's very well composed. I think like she definitely does a very good job, and that's why like she's growing really fast, man. Already 200,000 subscribers. If you guys want to go, drop a like and a sub if you still didn't.